Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a San Antonio family fears the worst after a 15-year-old girl went missing. We hear from the family this evening.
FEMA is coming to the crossroads. Those affected by the May 13th weather in Calhoun County could get additional help.
And a woman arrested by Victoria County deputies now facing 8 charges.
Well, another situation where we are quiet but stormy weather in North Texas and West Texas, but it could drift into our area. That's a possibility, and we'll be taking a look at it tonight.
And Shiner are your 2024 state champions. That recap in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Brubaker.
And I'm Garcia. Our top story tonight, a New York jury reached a guilty verdict in former President Donald Trump's historic hush money trial. Trump now guilty of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records.
This is all relating to a $130,000 hush money payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels during the 2016 presidential campaign. The charges come from payments made by Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen. Cohen then tried to pay Daniels in an attempt to silence her allegations of an affair with the former president. Prosecutors claimed Trump orchestrated the payments to Cohen, disguising them as legal expenses to protect his 2016 campaign. Sentencing takes place July 11th, 4 days before the Republican National Convention. Tonight, Trump is attending a fundraiser for his 2024 campaign. After the verdict, U.S. Representative District 27 Michael Cloud released this statement, quote, "Pray for our country and for President Trump. I fear we're witnessing the opening of a Pandora's box that will never be undone. Republican leaders, if ever a time to step up, it's now," unquote.
So here is your viewer poll this afternoon. The question is, do you believe a convicted felon should be allowed to run for U.S. president? Yes, no, or unsure. According to our results, it's flipping right now, and it looks like 40% voted yes, the remaining 59% voted no, and 1% say unsure. Thank you for voting. Join us tonight on 25 News now at 10 for a full update.
A 52-year-old suspect faces charges in 2 counties. John Lott of Victoria has 10 charges total. 5 of the charges are theft of property. 2 of those charges are in Jackson County. Lott is also charged with unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $127,000 bond.
And Victoria County deputies arrested a 37-year-old suspect Thursday. That's Rebecca Williams of Victoria, facing 8 charges, including aggravated assault, criminal trespass, and resisting arrest. She is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a $49,500 bond. FEMA plans to open a disaster recovery center for those affected by the May 13th weather in Calhoun County. The soft opening is scheduled for Sunday, June 2nd at 1 p.m. in the Calhoun County Library. The National Weather Service confirmed the EF1 tornado near Port Lavaca had a path length of over 13 miles. Damaging straight line winds of 85 miles per hour were also reported on the south side of Port Lavaca toward Magnolia Beach, with 60-mile-per-hour winds in Port Alto. The regular hours will be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and residents can also apply for assistance at disasterassistance.gov or by calling 800-621-3362.
Storms that hit Wharton County yesterday afternoon caused major damage at a high school. The visitor stands at the East Bernard High School football field collapsed. No one was hurt. There was also road flooding on that side of East Bernard.
And now let's take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis.
Thank you very much. It's been one for the record books. You know, we normally know that springtime is a volatile season. This one has been off the charts. Tonight we have stormy weather up in the Dallas area, leaving Dallas, now rolling into East Texas. You can see how it's going to be in about Conroe, Livingston area. We also have tornado possibilities out in far West Texas. Now, we're down here, and there is a possibility, the computers are saying, that that will drift into our region sometime overnight. So we'll take a real close look at it coming up in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. A 15-year-old girl walked out of her San Antonio home early Sunday morning, and no one has heard from her since.
Her family thinks she may have met someone online posing as another teenager, and now they're fearing the worst.
With each day that passes, it gets more scarier, the thoughts of where she is or who she's with or where she could be.
The family of 15-year-old Isa Rodriguez say she walked out of her home early Sunday morning, leaving the back door open. And since then, no one has heard from her.
She hasn't reached out to any of her friends. She hasn't reached out to any of us.
Isa's sister Gwendolyn says she took a few belongings with her, but left her phone behind, which showed some concerning activity.
When we went through her phone, we realized that she was talking to strangers online.
Isa's family says they've tried talking to her about the dangers of talking to strangers online, but feels someone may have taken advantage of her.
Everyone was a teenager once, you think you know everything, and the world is just so scary out there.
Isa's disappearance has caused her family a lot of stress, and they say they just want her back home.
Please come home. We miss her. We love her. I don't know if she thinks that she's gone this far, that she might be in more trouble. Just come home. We're very worried about her.
Anyone with information on Isa's whereabouts should contact San Antonio Missing Persons Unit. The Supreme Court cleared the way for a National Rifle Association lawsuit against an ex-New York State official over claims she violated its free speech rights. Thursday's unanimous opinion reverses a lower court decision that had tossed out the gun rights group's original lawsuit. The NRA says the official pressured banks and insurance companies to blacklist the NRA after the Parkland, Florida school shooting left 17 people dead in 2018.
Yeah, now that building, the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School building, is set to be demolished in mid-June. It's where that horrific massacre shooting took place in 2018, claiming the lives of 17 students and adults. Since the February 2018 shooting, the school building remained untouched. That shooter is currently serving a life sentence in jail. A second human case of bird flu is found in Michigan. This is the third human case connected with dairy cows. As with the previous two cases, the person is a dairy farmer worker with exposure to infected cows. The CDC reports this is the first human case of bird flu in the U.S. to report more typical symptoms of acute respiratory illnesses associated with the flu. Now, people with exposures to infected birds or other animals, including livestock, are at greater risk of infection and should take precautions.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell, then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. All right, and stay with us. A new weapons plant in North Texas is up and running. Coming up on 25 News now at 6, how this could help the people of Ukraine.
Also ahead, the new wave of 3D printed homes is hitting Texas, why experts say this could be the answer to affordable housing.
Our military hero of the month is Billy Dean Waldrop, who served as a staff sergeant in the Korean War. At 93 years of age, Bill is full of stories about Texas back in the 1940s and of his first job with Central Power and Light.
So none of us knew how to climb, when we first started. So they had us climbing those palm trees, and some of them are 70 foot tall over there. And you can climb one of those palm trees, and the center of it goes like this. You climb up. And they have, in those leaves, they have bats and wasp nests. Yep. And let's see, what else? Oh, spiders.
In 1947, he was drafted into the Korean War, and the next thing he knows, he's on the other side of the Pacific.
There's only two places you can land, one Pusan or Incheon. So we landed in Incheon, it's on the northern. So then we came down from Incheon to Seoul.
One of the facts that stands out about the Korean War is that it was incredibly cold. In fact, it was Siberian cold.
Well, they get 15 or 20 below zero. They'd usually call up there at night. There's somebody in the rear that said, you're going to have to double your guard or something or other. So about 30 minutes is all you can stand of that. If you got all your parka clothes on and everything, because you just have your eyes and your nose sticking out here.
Here's a photo of his DD-214 with all of his medals, which also includes a service medal from the United Nations. When he came home, CP&L rehired him, transferring him to Victoria. With all of his experience, he was entrusted with supervising the electrical distribution lines in all of the crossroads.
See, they had several different departments. And they had, back then they had the ice department, and they had the transmission department, and they had distribution department. The distribution was the lower stuff around town. Yep. And we took care of the high lines.
And over the years, it was Bill and his crews that had to reestablish power after every hurricane.
In fact, one of the last jobs I had was taking care of some stuff when they had that big one in the Corpus, the hurricane that tore up everything down there. And I'd put about 12 hours a day in a helicopter, seeing where we was going to work next. But I think I had 396 or 7 people working. We have contractors and everything.
Right.
All that storm job in there.
So to Bill Waldrop, 25 News Now would like to present a plaque and a cash gift for his service to the country during the Korean War and for keeping the lights on in South Texas for all these years. If you know a military hero who needs to be recognized, go to crossroadstoday.com and tell us their story. Maclovio Perez, 25 News Now.
Plant in North Texas is officially up and running.
Local and federal leaders celebrated the grand opening of the General Dynamics facility Wednesday. They say it will help restore U.S. stockpiles and keep up with the demand for missiles and munitions. U.S. Senator John Cornyn says the plant will benefit North Texas and beyond.
Obviously, what's happening in Ukraine with the democracies around the world supplying Ukraine with the weapons they need to defend themselves has exposed some weakness in our defense industrial base, which is being answered by this facility right here.
Right now, the plant has one manufacturing line, but it's expected to have 3 lines running by November of next year. At full capacity, the plant will account for about 1/3 of all 155mm shell production in the U.S.
Federal lawmakers are pressing the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate the oil industry for collusion and price fixing. Today, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and nearly 24 Senate Democrats sent a letter to the DOJ pointing to allegations against a Texas oil tycoon. Earlier this month, the FTC accused Scott Sheffield of trying to collude with OPEC and its allies to keep oil supply artificially low. Sheffield has denied the allegations. He's calling on the FTC to rescind the order against him. Building a new home is a process that can take months, but one going up right now in Fort Worth will take just weeks.
Yeah, and it's not an ordinary home. It is believed to be the city's first 3D printed house, and it could be the answer to affordable housing.
Gone are the days of pouring concrete yourself. Why would you when a giant printer can do it for you?
It's basically running on autopilot, and it's taking the design that's fed into it and actually printing the walls layer by layer.
Black Buffalo 3D is a Pennsylvania-based construction company in charge of bringing what they say is the first ever 3D printed home to Fort Worth. And there were no shortage of oohs and ahs.
It's not very often that people line up at construction sites just to watch what's going on.
The method of 3D printing utilizes a large-scale printer and an ink that's 3.5 times stronger than concrete.
It follows very similar rules of a desktop printer.
It's cheaper to build and much quicker. The entire home should be done within a few weeks as opposed to a few months. The hope is that 3D printing will revolutionize the housing market and make owning a home more affordable for North Texans. Eric Copeland is the chief building official for the state of Montana. He came all the way here on business to watch the home take shape.
We have affordable housing issues just the same as there are here, and so we're trying to figure out ways of combating that, and 3D printing and being a new technology, we really want to see it expand, so we had an opportunity to educate ourselves some more on it and came down here to look and learn a little bit more about it.
And though utilizing 3D printing in construction isn't a new idea, watching it come to life is still considered cutting edge.
Never seen a 3D house, didn't know they had them. Just curious to see the finished product.
The more it's seen by the public, the more they believe everyone will understand just how useful it can be.
While this might be the first in Fort Worth, it is not the first 3D printed homes in Texas. The world's largest community of 3D printed homes is near Austin, and we saw them these homes are fantastic.
Yeah, and just down the road, the 3D home business process is underway in our neighborhood in Shiner.
Look forward to seeing all that stuff in China, not too far away. Well, folks, tonight we've got stormy weather in East Texas. Now here's Dallas, Waco, Austin. That's where the big stuff is happening. We also have some big storms firing out in far west Texas. But the computer models keep telling us that this is going to be drifting into our region. So we'll take a much closer look at it coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I just want to remind everybody that next week on June 3rd, we have a 30-minute special on Storm Prep 2024. Starts at 6:30 right after our 6 o'clock show. And join us. We've got all kinds of information, things that you need to remember from past storms and things that we now know that we need to get ready for because it promises to be a very active season. Right about now, it's 88 degrees. Our high temperature came in at 90, but didn't show up on the thermometer there. We need to fix that. Otherwise, we had no stormy weather in our area today. Lots of sun and humidity. But late tonight, big storms rolling into East Texas. You can see that right here is Highway 45. So Hello, Houston. Looks like another line coming through that area as well. Out in far west Texas, exactly along the dry line, a huge complex of storms. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 big areas of stormy weather are developing even as we speak. And you can see very clearly which way the winds are blowing. They're blowing in this direction. So that's when they get caught up in the activity and they start drifting toward the crossroads. We're going to have to watch these overnight because the computer models keep telling us that they'll be here sometime 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then tomorrow is another chance that we get for some stormy weather. Notice the big dome of high pressure. It was over us over Memorial Day, but it moved down south, so it's giving Mexico really some blazing temperatures. So for us tonight, here's the big stuff out east, and out west, there's the storms beginning to fire. Here's what Severe Storms Lab expects: some possible severe weather throughout West Texas and into the hill country. We're getting very close to that stuff, so we'll be watching it. And then tomorrow, Friday, we have a generalized chance of getting some stormy weather around here as well. Now, that's Friday. After that, things sort of settle down and we get into the very quiet, very hot weather pattern. 92 our forecast high for tomorrow, and you can see an upper 90s along the Rio Grande. Just one more thing I wanted to show you. This is the future tracker. Pardon me. This is the one that tells us, okay, it's moving this way. So we're talking Thursday night late, then we're talking into Friday morning, and there it is, rolls into the crossroads. So because of that activity or that model, we have to include thunder showers around our area, not only overnight, but in the afternoon tomorrow because of all the heat and the humidity as well. Just thought I'd toss it out for you, but in Delhi, India today, the high temperature was a 52 degrees centigrade. That's 126 degrees, and it's not the dead of summertime. As a matter of fact, this is a national record. Nowhere in India has ever gotten that hot. And even in Madrid, Spain, they had a high temperature of 35 degrees. That got them to a 95 degree temperature. So this is all part of our global catastrophe that we're dealing with on a day-by-day basis. You can see it. Isolated thunderstorms possible overnight and into tomorrow morning. Getting up to 90 along the coast, 92 in the inland areas. 7-day forecast today and tomorrow, possible isolated showers. After that, we're just plain old hot, hazy, and humid. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. And now here's Zach Brown with your sports.
We got the Shiner ladies, who are your 2024 state champions, and Ganado getting ready for first pitch in Game 1 in their best of 3 series. That's coming up in sports. Last night we had Shiner in the state championship game trying to win its first title since 2016. Now in the first inning, we had shades of the semifinal game from Kaylee Bedecker, who sends it to straightaway center field, and the center fielder can't grab it. It's dropped. They rule it a hit, so it's an RBI double that gets Shiner on the board first. Now Beckville did respond with a solo shot of their own in the bottom half of the inning to tie the score, but in the third, it was Brinley Ramirez who gets one into the gap. If she can absolutely fly rounding the bases, it's an easy triple to lead off the third inning, and a few batters later, it's going to be Addie Siegel, and all she really needed to do was put the ball in play to score the speedster from third, and she put it in play and a whole lot more. She sent it deep to left and out of the ballpark for a two-run homer, and Shiner takes the lead right back. It's now 3-1 in the third. Comanche Nation loving that as their ladies take control in this state championship game. And in the sixth inning, a Peyton Vincent bomb pretty much sealed the deal for the Shiner Comanches, and their fans knew it. Shiner are your state champions once again, and for the first time since 2016, they defeat Beckville 10-4 in Austin. The Ganado Indians are our lone team remaining for the 2023-2024 school year. They are going to the regional final for the first time in school history, and they will get a familiar face in a familiar place. They will take on district rival Flatonia, who they beat twice this year. Ganado trying to keep their historic season alive. Game one in their best of three about 30 minutes from now in Hallettsville. Tonight, the Victoria Generals have their opening day, and that's going to be in Seguin. And this afternoon, former Victoria General Spencer Arrighetti on the bump for Houston. He was excellent. He went 6 innings of scoreless baseball, 8 strikeouts, and only 2 hits allowed. He gets the win. Final score 4-0. Huge win for the Astros, who dropped the first 2 games in this series against Seattle, and they got the outing from the former Victoria General Spencer Arrighetti to boot. That is it for your sports. Donna, Karina, back to you.
Zach, we're back in a moment. The Olympic flame passed through the historic Omaha Beach Thursday. This and one last look at your weather next.
Olympic flame passed through historic Omaha Beach today as the Olympic torch relay made its way through Normandy on its way to Paris. The torch was carried in a small boat and landed on Omaha Beach almost 80 years to the day after some of the 160,000 Allied soldiers landed there on D-Day to drive out the forces of Nazi Germany. The relay also went past the White Cross headstones of the Normandy American Cemetery. Over 9,300 soldiers are buried there. We remember them last weekend during Memorial Day, and it's, well, next Thursday, a week from tonight, the 80th anniversary of D-Day.
D-Day.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. It's just very I think touching that they decided to remember that.
Oh, excellent.
And of course, we're talking global, come on, let's get together here. You know?
Oh, absolutely. And that's what happened during World War II.
Terrific. Well, folks, overnight we may have some storms. They're all firing out in West Texas. They may be visiting us tonight and into tomorrow. And then after Friday, your weekend's looking pretty good. I think we're going to be partly cloudy, but rather warm and hazy. And of course, that's kind of like the forecast for the next 6 months.
Just the next 6 months?
It seems like it.
Oh, no.
I'm already bored.
Well, you know, a lot of those football practices, they move to the early mornings because of how, that's probably a good story for the summertime. They move to the early mornings because of how hot it's unbearable.
Yeah, it is.
I don't envy them at all.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
She doesn't leave the house.
I don't leave my house. I don't leave my car. So.
And you'll have Ganado highlights tonight, right?
Yes, as much as I can because I got to be back here at 10. The game doesn't start till 7, so but I'm headed there now.
Be safe, and thanks for joining us.
And we hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.